Okay, this video is going to show how to create a Google form so that the answers get sent to a spreadsheet. So I'm going to create a new form and I'm going to call it test 2. I'm super creative. So the first thing you're going to do is click at the top here, instead of questions, click where it says responses, and then it has the Google Sheets logo. You can click on that. I usually just create a new spreadsheet so that I have a spreadsheet for every form. So create, and then it'll take you there to show you. So what's going to happen is it's going to create a timestamp for when every person submits the answers, and then each question will go across, and there'll be like a column for each question. It's a little annoying because it's going to put the whole question in there. So basically, once it's completed, I usually just create a copy of it and then I do what I want to it. Like I might number the questions or whatnot, and I'll show you how to do that. Um, so going back to questions, the first question, again, we ran into this issue at my school because like our school isn't a Google school, so it doesn't automatically create it. I don't know if there's a way that you can, I know kids can put in their emails, but I just have gotten into the habit of asking for name. I usually do first and last because it comes out a little bit better. So what is your first name? Short answer is good. I also make every question required so that kids know that they have to do it. So that's all set. What is your last name? Clearly, I'm the world's worst typist. Require that. And even then, sometimes the kids make mistakes. So I'm just going to do like one question. Which of the following is not a name of one of my cats? That one's multiple choice. Again, required. Butters, mittens, boots, trooper. Just make sure I have that. Then, I mean, you can, I'm sure you know how to play with like the colors and whatnot. So you can, let's see, send it. I usually just send kids the link since I've already populated the thing, and then I don't have to like worry about sending an email. So you can send it via email, you can send it via a link. I don't usually bother to shorten the URL because I just like put a hyperlink in there. It does look like you can collect email addresses, so I know sometimes when I do a form at school, I have to enter my email address. I haven't really done too much about that. Um, I don't usually include the form in the email, so then I would send that. I mean, obviously, maybe I should put an email address in there first. So send. So I already created one and did some answers, so I can give you some options for how I might correct them. So let me actually find the right one. So for test 1, I just made up like random questions. So my last name, let's say, is Jones. My next name, my first name, let's say, is Bob. My favorite color, let's say, is green. My favorite food is cheese. I have 3 cats. I love the beach, he thinks. I don't like pop. Um, I accidentally left in an extra option for one of them. Um, I do usually check before I send to make sure that like the spreadsheet is correct because otherwise it messes things up a little bit. So I'm going to submit that. So then if I go to the answers, I submitted 3 sets of answers. So notice each one has a timestamp and then there's a question, like each question. So obviously, like the cell isn't big enough. So usually, what I do here is make a copy, because then this enables me to mess with it without messing with the initial data. Um, so usually, what I do here is I just change like to question numbers, just because I think it makes it a little bit easier. Um, I mean, I also personally prefer everything to be centered, but maybe that's just me. It's not dorky like that. There we go. I also think it's a little bit easier, especially if you have like a way that you can automatically import grades. Like you can create a cell with a formula that will combine the kids' names for you. It's called concatenating. So I usually do that. I like last first, so I would say like the cell with the last name. Um, I would put in like a comma between the names, and then first name. So I'm just going to copy that. There we go. I usually then copy those and paste them as values, just because sometimes it messes with the data otherwise. So then I generally get rid of these two cells just to make it a little bit easier. Like apparently, all right, I can't delete it. Let's hide it. I guess I could also probably like paste special there. So then in terms of actually correcting them, I want to do it as easy as possible. I guess it depends on how much work you want to do. So the first, I think probably like the easiest way, if you didn't mind like doing some hand counting, is just create a filter for all of them. So filter is basically going to enable you just to show the cells that have just the answers that you choose. So you're going to go to data, create a filter, and then I might filter by, all right, so like for question one, we all know that my favorite color is orange. So I might filter out any answer that's orange because that's the correct answer. So then I would know that Susie and Bob got that wrong, so I could somehow relate that. You could also choose to filter by correct if you wanted to do it that way. I think you probably could create formulas that would enable you to like use a formula to count it, but I need to think about that for a little bit longer, which is really kind of a fun project for me, and I'll probably do that at some point. Um, Whoops, if I want to remove the filter here, I'm just going to clear the filter. Okay, I'm going to select all. There we go. So another way that to do it, and this I guess would probably depend on how many classes you have, you could technically insert like a blank row after every kid, and then you could create a if-then statement. So if this person's answer, actually you could even, I guess, make it a little simpler. Oh no, you maybe couldn't. Oh yeah, no, you could. So if you insert a row above here and type the correct answer, I forget what the other, I forgot what the correct answer to that one was. So you could say if the cell is equal to the correct answer, then like award a point or whatever. Um, I would probably enter 0 just because I'll probably use like a sum function. So then I would just change it so that I always want like the top one to stay the same. So the one is going to stay the same, but the cell will change. Um, so if I go across here, clearly I got all the questions right. Let's see what happens when I copy here. Okay, so this one, so since this one was E3, it automatically adjusts this one. So then we can go across here. Susie obviously doesn't know me at all. Um, do those. So then I would enter just a sum formula for that row. Whoops, why did that not work? Why is that not working? It has something to do with how I'm doing the data, I think. Maybe I'll do like a count. Um, Okay, so maybe if I change the formula just to do a blank instead of a 0, then I can do count, um, count A, which is just going to count like any non-blank cell. There we go. Oops. But they all have formulas in them. Okay. So what if I count blank? So 5 minus, because there's 5 totals, count blank. Let's see if we can do it this way. I feel like this would have been like the easiest part, but apparently not. Ah! All right, what happens if I do the sum now? Ah. All right, well, somehow there's a formula that we could figure out to put in so that we could count that way. So that's a lot of information. Really, what you wanted was probably in like the first 2 minutes, which is fine, but I got a little carried away because this is so much fun for me. Um, woohoo!